Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome along to episode 63 of the Sofa Manager Scottish Football Podcast. Plenty to talk about on this week's show. Tonight's topics are the Old Firm Derby, the bit of the damp squib that was the Old Firm Derby on Saturday. We'll also be talking the Europa League, which team has to be Red Bullish to get through there. Stay tuned. Also, everybody loves Raymond, as Ray McKinnon takes on a new job at Falkirk. We ask why, quite literally. We also round up some interesting stories in the Premierships and the Championships, including the longest goal ever not to be awarded. So stay tuned for that. And possibly some more FIFA roundup. We'll wait and see how we do and how we get there. Anyway, joining me on this week's show, is Jolly Jambo and Glory Hunter John Brown.
Hello.
Absconding from his Falkirk duties for the weekend instead of...
absconding, I've given up.
He's totally given up. Instead of going to Dingwall, you went to Tynecastle.
Exactly.
Politely didn't invite any of his co-hosts. Okay, he doesn't care. Thanks for that. And podcast debutant and the only man to get himself injured in a non-contact sport, it is Fraser.
I feel that's a little bit unfair. There's enough folk get injured at it.
Not so sure. What's your footballing background, Fraser? Who do you support, etc?
Falkirk fan, loosely. More Liverpool. Played for a lot longer than I've sort of supported teams. Played to a decent level. A couple of Scottish Cup quarterfinals and, you know, all the sort.
No need to brag now, Fraser.
No
need to brag at all. And anyway, alongside him is me, one-time goal scorer for my high school, Paul, Fly Emirates fanboy Menzies. So, anyway, let's crack straight on, shall we? So, topic numero uno. The Old Firm Derby happened on Sunday. Did we give it a watch? What did we see? How did we tolerate Andy Walker?
Muted.
I think that was the most sensible way. His bias was like shaking all over the shop. Like when the Old Firm plays, he's always...
went with the radio.
The radio? Radio would be much better commentary, and they'll actually be there for the Celtic leg of it at least.
You don't have to watch it.
No, that's true. Bit of a damp squid. A damp squib.
Speak for yourself.
You like it?
I enjoyed it. It was a good game.
Did you? I don't know. I liked a bit of bite. It liked a bit of fire from me. A bit of excitement. It was kind of.
Sorry.
I thought it was quite timid. Though, you know, there were a few talking points.
There were a few. I'm more with John on that one. I'm not convinced. I would say it was a damp squib. I saw a wee bit more from Rangers. I'm still not convinced. But
you didn't see anything from Rangers on the attack, though.
No, but it was only one. It should have been more, don't get me wrong.
No,
but it was only one.
They defended very sternly and I thought contained them. There was nothing going through the middle for Celtic at all.
I don't know. I mean, Rangers did a fine containment job. I'm just going to disagree with you.
Okay. I'm fighting you. I'm no longer sitting agreeing because we've had comments calling you an imbecile from other people.
And yourself,
well, particularly from Rangers fans who were furious at your comments in the last podcast.
We both got that wrong.
No.
Yeah, we did.
No.
Yeah, we did.
You said they didn't. They'd never won a European trophy, and
No, we said they had won a European trophy. You said it didn't count.
No, you said it didn't count. You were the one that wouldn't put them in. Right.
Do you want me to come and sit in the middle of you?
Cup Winners' Cup, Fraser. Right, what was your policy?
No, it was like the green jacket thing before in the US Masters. You win a green jacket, you have to go back every year.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if you
in
win
a
the
European
Champions League,
Super League kind of thing.
You have to go back every year into the group stage and just get bigger and bigger.
You didn't... Oh, no.
Well, see, John excluded Rangers on the basis that he couldn't remember what year they'd won the European trophy or whatever.
Aye.
Anyway.
I'll let my solicitor on you.
Anyway. Why do you think your defensive point?
I forgot my point.
Brilliant. Shuts you down entirely. I think. Do you know what? We've said before that Rangers are probably the strongest defence in Scotland right now.
You're hard pushed to argue at the moment. They look organised, which is better than can be said for the majority of teams. I mean, Celtic obviously have their problems.
Yes.
Other top.
Didn't look like that in that game though.
Didn't need to.
No.
I mean, Morelos was virtually nameless in that first half.
It was not really a striker's game though. Like you could say that about Morelos, but I think you could also say that about Edouard in the first half. I didn't really see him making much of an impact.
Had the
Was
header
that off the post or the bar?
McGregor made a good save, one of many.
Kicked. Ayer for good measure.
He should have been off for that. There's no doubt about it. Quite how it was missed, I don't know. That's the worry.
I mean, if it was missed, it was fine. I mean, Willie Collum seems to be looking at it. He's a long distance away, you know. Our referees have no vision, as far as I'm concerned, especially involving Michael Devlin from an earlier Aberdeen game the same weekend. Or the Stennismuir game like 2 weeks ago. But I would like to see him retrospectively sent off for that kind of thing, though, because it's shambolic and it's not something we will do. In fact, we will rescind
worse
red
than Morelos,
cards.
exactly, that's what I was going to say. Is it not of the same?
It was a kick out blatantly as well. I don't know.
He had a good game, McGregor, though.
He kept winning the game.
Yeah, only reason it wasn't 5 or 6. Well, that and the crossbar.
I know. Some cracking efforts. So I think most of the Celtic efforts were mainly speculative. You know, I think James Forrest in the first half from kind of long range. They did have a few in the end. Ryan Jack went close in the first half, which was one of few, you know, Rangers kind of breakaways, really. It's not something we saw.
If any, they looked tired. I think that's maybe the best way to look at it, especially in the second half. It fell off and their end tried to push forward a little bit more. You could tell that world, literally.
I know.
They played a European tie and came back.
I think I got back at Friday at 4 in the morning.
Brutal.
So it's...
not much training to go in. Lafferty completely fell out of the game and they lost that kind of physicality up front.
He was trying.
Yeah,
he tried really hard, but
I expected him to put through the middle earlier than he did.
Yep.
I think it was the wrong game. I've said already, I thought Morelos was nameless, but I think a little bit more physical presence in the middle could have...
A bit more lump it and hope instead of...
Not even lump it and hope. You can aim something at Lafferty, it's lump it and hope Morelos can chase it.
We'll stick with Lafferty 9 times out of 10, which is kind of what Rangers were lacking last season. They kind of played off Morelos, hope for the best. Thank God they never got sent off and work it for there. The loss of Jamie Murphy is an interesting one. I don't think they've got the same kind of strength and depth up front anymore. What Celtic might have, certainly it's attacking midfielders into strikers.
No, that's true.
I don't think Rangers have that.
Well, yeah, with Murphy out, Morelos is their only real kind of forward, because there's not even any wingers.
I got Kent. And who was the young boy that came on against Ufa in the first
Middleton, maybe?
That's the one I'm thinking. He looked like he had some promise.
The Roma boy as well.
Oh, Umar Sadiq.
No, it's 19, 20-year-old.
Dropped off.
He played for the under-20s against Falkirk's Colt.
Well, let's not even go there.
I was impressed. I thought Kent looked very committed in the game. Didn't do a lot, but he was up for it. Which is what... I mean, Gerrard was a lot of chat before the game. You know, he was very good. He made the interviewer look like a total plonker. And that, you know, I've played in plenty of big games. This is not about me. This is about the team. You know, it's like, oh. I think that's the effect he has on people. Is he just kind of disarms you through power and awe. Unfortunately, I don't like that. But
yeah. Being a Liverpool fan, love him to bits.
They tried to play up the sort of Rodgers Gerrard angle. You know, him kind of dropping him, forcing him out, things like that.
That was sorted years ago. They're obviously not best pals, but I don't think there was ever any question of
they couldn't be
a handshake or.
A mutual respect between the two.
Exactly.
Given what Rodgers almost did with Liverpool.
One of the other reasons, though, I said it was a damp squib. Atmosphere was weird because of these like 800 Rangers fans or whatever. And you know, we've discussed this on the podcast before, but referring to Mr. Andy Walker, he claimed that the SPFL didn't have a backbone and that it was their responsibility to sort it. No. Which I thought,
between the two clubs to come to a solution.
Well, that's the thing. The rules are in place because if you have someone like Hamilton Academical, you don't need 6,000 away tickets for even or Livingston. You don't need 6,000 home tickets for Livingston.
6,000 away tickets for any team. You could argue Aberdeen will bring a travelling support.
Hearts, Hibs.
Depends on how well they're doing.
Exactly, that's what.
Yeah, but in derby scenarios, you go to local games, things like that.
Sorry, I'm just talking about coming to Rangers and Celtic.
Oh yeah, that's true. I don't know what the letter of the law ruling is, but I thought I'd bring up Andy Walker's incompetency because it did bring a smile to my face.
His point was correct. His target was incorrect.
He's an idiot.
I tried.
No! The coverage was also really shonky. Like,
I'd love to see BT cover that kind of game.
Well, yeah.
What BT have been able to do with absolute dross like Dundee United versus Dunfermline in playoff games. Come on.
Well, that's the thing.
Could you imagine Chris Sutton?
Oh,
I don't even want to.
him and Ali in the commentary box. Terry Butcher, intermediary. That'd be great though.
But I'm not sure. I'd rather have a camera box in the box.
Ring.
Or like the fan zone commentary and things, but
that's
like
essentially what it would turn into.
pundit cam.
Bring it back.
I thought Boyd was quite good. He was being quite self-deprecating at points and things like that. He talked about fitness and he said, I am the only one in the Premiership's not up to it. He talked about Lafferty, about not remembering the last Old Firm game he probably played in because of his exploits as well. But
Lee McCulloch was doing the radio commentary that I was listening to, and you noticed a few wheeze when he's talking about Rangers. And I think it takes away from it a little bit. You need, if you're going to have McCulloch, then you need somebody like, I mean, Sutton's just an obvious example, but somebody...
Chris Cobbins or...
Yeah, exactly. Just something to balance it out.
a dullard, aye.
Well,
he is grim.
McCulloch wasn't particularly inspiring either.
Apparently, who was it we heard an interview of on the radio? It was Andy Little who said he was like roastingly scary when he was at Rangers.
I don't remember who it was, but I do remember that coming out. It's well known that he's an absolute psycho.
Me either.
We heard Yogi on the radio the other day as well.
Oh, Chris Commons was on the same show.
Was he?
Aye, the Tuesday night.
Oh,
Discussing
SPFL matters.
We'll get to the...
Because that's not...
Everybody Love... Once we get to Everybody Loves Raymond, we can talk about
Okay.
Tuesday night.
Right, we'll come to that.
That's quite funny.
Elsewhere though, the kind of transfer business is what's been kind of much talked about. You've talked about, Celtic struggling. All of a sudden, Dembele goes for £19.4 million potentially.
Good money.
It's horrendously good money. It's insane.
Somebody made the point to me the other day, for 19 million, they'd have driven him to Lyon himself. I mean,
would have.
It's...
Imagine
you can't complain about that. You can complain about the timing.
Yeah,
I understand the complaints about the timing.
My point with that though would be that if you did sell him a week or 2 weeks earlier, you would have got like 15 million. Because this was a last minute thing.
I don't necessarily think that's true, but what would worry me then is a panic buy. Who do they bring in to replace him? Do they just go down into the lower leagues, or do they go and
Lawrence Shanklin?
Exactly. You're going to spend
Stephen Dobie.
3 or 4 million on him just because you've got the money.
Million?
Just because you've got the money, it's just...
Queen of the South was buzzing. Well, it did free up the cash for Youssef Malumbu to pave his miracle way to Celtic Park in a move that almost none of us, I think, expected universally.
Nobody expected that.
And Stephen Cocker, I think, has seen the light as well and now is hoping for the same transfer. He's cancelled his contract with Dundee. I think in the hope of a Rangers or a Celtic move.
No danger.
That's what he was angling for when he came here.
The man that can't help keep a clean sheet at Dundee is going to step into Celtic's backline.
Yeah, but did Malumbu's performances at Kilmarnock warrant him getting a place with Celtic? He was good.
He was good, whereas I'm not sure you could particularly say the same for Cocker.
Well, you could absolutely not say the same for Cocker.
So,
but that's what he's wanting.
Going to be down in League One.
Yeah, he's mad. He can come with Falkirk. We need
he's not going to come. We don't have anywhere near the wage demands of that.
I'll give it 6 months.
Wait and see. I think Rangers strengthened in their centre-back area as well tomorrow.
Looking like it anyway. Not sure if it's been confirmed.
By the time this goes out, Fraser, it probably has, so speak with confidence.
Okay. My apologies. Gareth McCauley. Spring chicken at 37. I think even 38.
Could be 38 by the time this goes out, who knows?
79 caps for Northern Ireland though, I think.
Oh yeah, I thought it was his former FIFA rating you were going for there, but either way, he was a good defender for West Brom.
Was. I would... My worry is it's Clint Hill all over again. It's Clint Hill, it's Philip Senderos,
I thought Hill was quite good for them.
He was okay. He did a job. I just... At that age, they've got 2 good centre halves. Yes, it's cover, but what's his wages for?
Tremendous.
His wages are probably.
He was coming back as well.
I haven't heard anything about it.
I honestly thought he would go the other way in the Lafferty deal to Hearts, and that was the big rumour. But
I don't know if bridges were burnt when he left though.
Hearts?
Yeah. Did he leave when Rangers went down?
Yeah, he did. He left when they tanked, or at least the season before. At least we knew it was going to happen.
He's around about the Ian Black era.
Everything was a gamble back then. Ian Black, did he go from Hearts to Rangers as well then?
I think he did.
Yeah, straight as far as I can think.
Yeah. I have a lot of bad history with gamblers. Did Don Cowie not get done for gambling as well or something when he was... Anyway, I know I honestly thought he would go there, but no new defenders for Celtic, really. 19 million, I think an overall profit of 10 million maybe?
They paid $500,000 for
They
him.
paid $500,000.
Okay.
It was like for Dembele.
No, but I'm talking about they spent 9 million
over
on
Edward.
so it's kind of, they got 10 million on the kitty. 5 million of that will probably go on disco lights, and he'll maybe get 5 million of that in January. And if he could punt Kouassi, which is what he wants to do,
I would not be surprised.
I think he'll go. I think Sinclair might not be too far behind him.
wouldn't get any money for Sinclair now, though.
No, but it's 25 grand off your wage bill.
That's true. Well, that's the thing.
Money.
And I think
He was that good though. For
the first season,
for
he
the
was
first
brilliant. And he
season
was
and a
near
half.
it, but not anymore.
Recently, no.
he's done what he's needed to do. He's won big titles. He can tick that off his career. He's played in the Champions
well
League,
in Champions League, yeah.
which is the opportunity that's afforded to you if you come up here.
Well, up until
Oh well,
up until a week or so ago.
European football certainly.
We'll not get bogged down in European again.
No. Which leads us swiftly on to our two teams did qualify for the Europa League. Rangers, one of 3 teams to come all the way from the first round. Can you name the other 2?
Copenhagen,
Oh, well done. Points to Fraser. Who did they beat?
Atalanta.
Yeah, that was a good result. Like,
It's a close game. I could have gone either way. Didn't touch it on my coupons.
I can avoid the Europa League. Now he's kind of sketchy.
No.
there was a lot of surprise. I really thought Rangers would have been the only one to come through. Since Fraser got the first one, John, you'll of course get the second one.
Is it F91 for Luxembourg?
No.
Oh.
Full of Esh, that's who it was. Sarpsborg of Norway. So well done to Luke Mack, 9 on Instagram, who got that correct. Who did they beat? I think they beat Apollon Limassol or something, the team that played at Aberdeen a few years ago. Quite a few familiar names got that far, but huge achievement for Rangers. I can't remember the last time a Scottish team went from the first round all the way to qualifying.
Many moons, I would imagine.
Many moons ago.
Celtic last season.
That's the Champions League, though.
Same principle.
Yeah,
A
but
little bit different.
yeah, different.
I would
It's an entirely different competition. This is John, who doesn't know a
No,
thing about
I'm-
European competition, who's been pointed out as to earlier in the podcast. So, point invalidated. Moving on. Rangers have been drawn against Rapid Vienna, Spartak Moscow, and Villarreal. These groups are actually relatively strong in the Europa League, considering kind of what they are.
Europa League's a strong competition. It's something that is overlooked. People don't take it seriously
We do.
when you look at the English teams.
What English teams? We're matching them this year.
Well,
Although, what narked me off massively in this biased punditry world, that, poor Burnley getting punted out by Olympiacos, and Burnley had a shocking European campaign.
they've had a shocking start to the season.
They're actually a ranked team, but there was no scathing reviews about them, and also
Because they got through a round. No. I mean, yes, they got Aberdeen, and
even I acknowledge they should have
it's
pumped. I thought they
it's-
were going to pump Aberdeen.
it's Olympiacos. I don't know what. You go away and play in Greece. I think we know another team who struggled doing that recently.
That's true. That's a bummer. Was it El Abdouawi who was playing for Olympiacos? That was a name from the past. He turned up in
say
FIFA
so.
a lot. Was he a Liverpool player?
I would like to hope not.
Maybe I had a career mode he transferred. I don't know.
Potentially.
So they were pointed out, but the BBC quoted it as 4 British teams in the last, whatever of Europa League. And I thought, you scumbags.
Especially since one of them qualified automatically. Did 2?
I think
did
2
they both?
automatically. Arsenal and Chelsea.
And then Burnley had to qualify from 7th, yeah.
So that's a raging sham. Or jam. Sorry. So, Rapid Vienna, Spartak Moscow, Villarreal. Do you think they can grab second for this? I don't think they can win it.
It's tough.
It's
tough.
really tough.
I need to wait on Darren and tell me what Villarreal are like, to be honest.
They haven't won a game yet in the Liga.
Rangers have got a chance.
But Santi Cazorla, was it Santi Cazorla signed for them? Did he not?
They
but then-
magicked him into the stands. It was quite impressive.
The smoky thing, you remember
By
that?
ice.
I struggle to see them qualifying. I think
think
there is potential. They won't win the group.
No,
Second
absolutely
place
not.
is Doable. It'll be between them and Rapid, to be honest.
Oh, you're ruling out Spartak?
Yeah, a little bit.
You can never know with the Russian side.
No, I don't think. I wouldn't rule them out. For me, Villarreal will probably come good. I think they have enough talent.
If they're doing badly in the league, this is the competition they would do well in. It's how it usually pans out.
Take it serious.
Yes.
Exactly. So I can see Villarreal coming good and winning the group. The next three, I'd have Spartak in second.
I don't know who's plays. Quincy Promes plays.
Still there.
Aidan McGarry, did he leave a while ago? He did play for Spartak though, didn't he, at one point?
Yeah.
A Moscow team.
Yeah. Spartak.
Yelovich, he'll still be in Vienna, won't he?
Gary O'Connor.
Oh,
Locomotive Moscow.
No, he was Locomotive.
Never those heavy heights.
He was too busy sampling the local potato-based drink of choice, I believe.
He was too busy having all his blood taken out of his body to put it all back in and getting clean.
They probably did do that. And then Rapid Vienna would be the one you do. But the Austrian teams can be quite strong.
I'll tell you though, they've got a hell of a scheduling task on their hands. If you've got Celtic and Rangers both having to go to Austria on the same day, I wouldn't want to be a policeman at Glasgow Airport that day.
That's fine. Vienna and Salzburg will have separate airports and separate.
Oh, aye, but they've got to leave for the same place.
That's true. That brings us on to.
Well,
I
did find that interesting though, that Rangers and Celtic, are they both in the same half of the draw? I think I've got that. I think I've got that wrong.
Could be. I don't know.
Because they'll have to make sure, because they can't play two Rangers and Celtic in Glasgow at the same time.
But they could potentially do it for the Austrian teams.
So they could play both away at the same time. But they both have to leave at the
I
same
didn't know
time.
about the Glasgow rule though, that you couldn't play two at the same time. That's a nightmare.
I mean,
they
the
try.
Polish just wouldn't allow it. I don't think they would.
They will do.
Oh no!
Maybe
Is it
this
not
is-
that what they do in that case is they've got the early games and the late games, so
They
one's
can
early
stagger
and
the
one's late.
kickoffs, aye.
I mean,
You have the Celtic games for going through at midnight, and then they do it in Russia, I suppose.
Yeah,
It's the same principle though. In theory, it'll never happen. But you could have Rangers and Celtic at home, right? And Rapid and Salzburg in Glasgow at the same time.
you could. I would imagine you won't.
You won't,
But you
of course
could.
you won't. But that is very interesting.
I'm sure there'll be somebody who knows exactly how the schedule.
No, there won't be. There absolutely won't be. This is far too
Infantino will be all over it.
Well, as we kind of mentioned, Celtic's group, which looks brutal, Red Bull Leipzig, or Rasenballspor Leipzig, because they're not allowed to be known as Red Bull. We've talked about them a lot.
Red Bull.
Rosenborg and Red Bull Salzburg. So Celtic will very much have to be the monsters of this group. See what I did there?
Unfortunately.
Nah, I didn't.
Energy drink based
Okay.
pun. So Red Bull Salzburg quarter-finalists last year in the Europa League.
Yeah.
Semis?
I don't think they made it as far as the
Did
semi.
Leipzig not make it one further and they got beat by Marseille?
One of them got beat by Marseille. I thought it
Are
was
you
Salzburg.
saying Atletico? No.
Atletico beat Arsenal.
I thought-
Oh no, you might be right. Marseille
it was-
beat Leipzig in the semi.
Oh, it was Salzburg to beat. I'd be Salzburg.
No, I'm sure they beat Leipzig in the
I think they beat Leipzig.
We'll look that
Yeah,
up
that
as
one
we're
might
talking.
be checked.
Drop it on
Anyway,
Instagram.
two teams that went a very long way, and Rosenborg, who we can. That's a comfy cushion for Celtic, I think, at this point.
I
Surely.
would suggest.
It's their. It is.
One. I've done such a good job.
Not
I
funny. Anyway, yes, you would expect Rosenborg to be kind of be the whooping boys
I don't
of this group.
necessarily see that.
panning out.
I don't know.
Radio, don't leave a lot of silence, Fraser. Come on, sharp, quick thoughts.
Salzburg
Did not play,
had a good run last year, but
Mhm.
I'm not convinced they're the same.
did Celtic not play them in the Europa League 2 or 3 seasons ago when Ronnie was in charge? In the Europa League, I'm sure they did.
Possibly.
I think it was the tight games, but Celtic have got it tougher than Rangers.
Yeah, but Celtic have more experience. Actually, I disagree with that. I'd prefer Celtic's group. I don't know why.
You mad, bro?
Villarreal and Spartak for me are better than Leipzig, you would assume, are the top team in that group. Beyond Celtic, I expect Celtic to win the group.
Salzburg definitely semi-finalists. So you're right there, John.
Alright, okay, fair enough.
Salzburg beat
That makes up
Lazio.
for things.
Salzburg beat Lazio, and Leipzig were knocked out by Marseille. in those
I
mental
at least got that
5-2
right.
games.
Yeah.
Well done there. The thing about Leipzig is, following them in qualifying, they have struggled against a few teams. I think they required a last-minute goal
In one of the games
in their final, the playoff round.
lost Naby Keita,
Big part. Timo Werner still there.
as far as I'm aware.
He's quite a strong player. Salzburg, I don't know anyone from Salzburg, but very much a feeder team to Leipzig, which is weird.
That's what it feels like, and I just don't.
I think Celtic have a better chance of going, well, do you know what? Yeah. Now that we talk about it. You're a good discusser, Fraser. You've talked me around. Well, I think I've talked myself round. That's weird.
Villarreal, Spartak, maybe on the same level as Leipzig last year. I don't think. I'm not saying Salzburg aren't a good team.
Mm-hmm.
Are they
What you're saying
really
is-
semi-finalists of the Europa League?
Celtic are much more competitive in that group compared to the rest of them. They're on an equal kind of level.
Yeah.
No, I'd say they're above at least two of them. I'd take Celtic over Salzburg every day of the week.
They're probably a bigger club than Salzburg.
They're a bigger club, but
they are.
I don't know if they're a better team.
I would take them over Rosenborg in
Yes,
a heartbeat.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, yeah, but
Is there any of those teams that you would take Rangers over
no,
at the moment?
no. But I'm very biased, so
That also comes from European experience. Celtic can handle the big occasion, or should be able to handle the big occasion with centre halves that are capable of playing football.
but that's the problem with Celtic is
Oh,
they don't have the depth. I think if a centre half does get injured, because I thought Ayer and Boyata, for example, played quite well today. One of them goes out. Hendry, who's a bomb scare at the moment, comes back in. You lose another one because Boyata is not looking particularly motivated at the moment. They would need to wait till January to get that sorted out, because we know they've got the cash to get with it. Did they get another centre half in? Was it Benkovic or something like that?
He's supposed to be coming in the loan.
yeah. No, was he not even on the bench today?
Is he a centre half though?
Mm-hmm. They brought in another centre half. They did.
So they got someone, but they would need to
Remains
wait
to be seen how he
until
fits.
January to use that Dembele money. But at that time, the Europa League's pretty much gone. If the team was struggling,
If the team's struggling, I would imagine
So-
they will struggle.
They'll only spend money if the league's in doubt.
I think the league could be in doubt
do you know what that is? Right, see the
at
amount
that
of,
point.
if that was a draw of the day, it's actually quite tricky to catch Hearts, who if they just kind of kept going, well, like anything,
It's
if they kept going, but like
It's a 5-point gap to Celtic if they draw. Well,
Beat
no,
Hearts.
it's 3 to Celtic, because
Yeah.
Celtic have only dropped points to Hearts.
Aye.
They'd have dropped another 2, so it would have been 5 to Celtic. I mean, Livingston's not going to hold the form out.
No. At home, maybe, because that park is a disaster. But
is it?
seen the highlights?
Is it any? They were talking about pellets a lot, so I don't know if there was maybe perhaps too many.
You're walking through the shopping centre and picking off pellets in your shoes.
No, really.
Have they just put the artificial in?
Aye, just
Oh.
for the season. So it's
It takes that
brand
time.
new.
I mean, even the Falkirk one is... The Falkirk pitch is far better now than it was when they installed it.
It looks
far
better.
better.
Had the chance to.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Today?
Yeah.
What were you doing there today?
I watched Buttermere Thistle hump Falkirk ladies 12-1.
I'll allow that word. Yeah, I'll allow that word. What were you doing there?
Gosling was playing.
Ah, very good. You enjoy that?
It was actually quite good. It's only to see goals.
Goals. That's what you need.
It was a good game, but that's detracting for the point. The artificial surfaces get far too much abuse.
Well,
I think the Falkirk surface.
The good
stands
artificial
out.
surfaces don't get enough credit.
yeah.
Okay, maybe if you want to look at it that way.
I think they're lumped in together. But there are awful artificial surfaces out there. Hamilton.
Stenny.
Stenny's a different
Stenny's
level of
It
football.
didn't look that bad.
Oh, it's bad to play on
It's bumpy,
How do you
and
know?
I used to play on it.
Oh, no,
Played
okay.
sevens.
Aloes is getting older. It's still okay, but it's...
I was watching the other week, Kelly's on the highlights, and it's a funny colour of green. Just on the... So that would be my complaint. I've often said, why not just make it coloured? Like, why don't you just have a blue one, or like a red one?
They do that in the American football.
I know.
You see Boise State have essentially this colour of kit.
A
And
lovely thing you've pointed to.
Their turf is that colour.
Mm-hmm.
Watching that is odd.
It would take a bit of getting used to. But then, right, what an advantage that would be for the home team.
Advantage and a half.
What, Norwich recently painted their changing rooms pink?
Pink, yeah.
Really watching Masters football with the old blue pitches.
Oh, don't take me back. So many memories.
Well, the only reason that Astro debate was brought up because an Old Firm player got themselves injured, and everyone was up in arms, despite the fact that no one had been injured on that Kelly pitch in like forever.
It's an easy excuse. Got injured. A plastic pitch.
It is. But anywho, anything else to add on our Europa League chat?
Other than, where do you think Celtic are going to finish? Will they qualify? I don't actually think you've answered the conversation.
I'm going to go with yeah.
Yeah.
I expect them at the top of the group.
I would say second.
No,
I would say second. Fraser, Scottish football.
Celtic, Champions League quality.
Not anymore. Not since they've like reformatted.
True, it's a different team than it. Well, it's a slightly different team from what it was last year. I would still expect Celtic to top the group. I would hope Rangers could manage. I would.
You know what?
Competitive and get a couple of wins.
Competitive, a couple of wins. If they can sneak second, excellent.
I think Rangers, their achievement is getting
there.
And
exactly.
Baby steps for Rangers. You don't need to do everything at once.
And it is going to be absolutely fantastic seeing the pair of them
going at it again.
Actually in a Europa League group stage.
Who are we going to watch though on a Thursday night? Because
that's what I'm saying. I think it's different times. I think it's different times all the time.
See how it goes.
Make sure
it's different with the Europa League than Champions League. Everyone's looking all over the shop.
Yeah.
But and they'll get to scout some more players to buy from different teams, which is what they've been doing this year, and raiding OZX cupboards. So if anyone's good, you'll be signing for Rangers. So congratulations there, you'll be scouted out. Anyway, it's a club of the same calibre and the same organisational mess, frankly.
Take it we're going to talk about Morton here.
We'll talk about Morton. Well,
it's not going to be Falkirk.
Before we do though, is there an ongoing legal case and we can't really mention very much?
The Morton thing. They were going to seek counsel. I don't know what that meant.
I think we're not your pals anymore is... Yeah.
We're not your pals? Oh, the Morton thing. I thought you were genuinely breaking up our friendship live on air. I was like, what did I do? Where did I go wrong?
I think that's around about what their statement said.
Well, we should preface this by saying Raymond McKinnon, the third person Falkirk asked if you believe the rumours.
You believe the hype, yeah.
Jim McIntyre turned it down first of all.
Would have taken.
Well, yeah, of course we would have taken, but...
He turned it down without any statement being released by anybody.
Yes, but you wouldn't release a statement saying that we'd offered it to Jim McIntyre and he turned it down.
No, but even Jim McIntyre didn't come out and say...
But then why would Jim McIntyre come out and say I rejected the Falkirk job?
So gets his name back out there.
Where did the rumour come from then?
Well, I mean, I don't know. The thing is, right,
sources.
I work for Falkirk Football Club, and where I get my information is the same place that everyone else gets their information. And I'm like, where did they get their information? Because I don't have any inside information. But like these other random Joes seem to know everything about the inner workings of Falkirk Football. Anyway, apparently, Jim Duffy turned it down as well. Former Morton manager. So we thought, stuff him. What will
Duffy never turned it down? Ian McCall turned it down.
Ian McCall turned it down.
Ian McCall? I didn't hear about Ian McCall.
Turned it down.
I heard Jim Duffy turned it down.
He turned it live on national radio.
Did he?
Oh, it was glorious.
Had a short conversation with the Falkirk board and decided to stick with his young and uppercomers at Ayr.
Why on earth would he ditch Ayr right now? Anyway.
Also, I would like to point out Ayr released a statement recently saying that the Falkirk board acted impeccably in their dealings with Ian McCall.
And that they kept it tapping quite quiet.
Yeah.
So is that a Sarky thing, or
I don't know whether that statement
cordial.
came out first or.
McCall did a very brief interview with Ayr TV and was quite open and blunt about saying I spoke to Falkirk for a very short time. Didn't like what I was hearing.
Mm-hmm. I'm
staying at Ayr, and then pulled the kind of a gratitude to the board.
That is bad news though. If he didn't like what he was hearing, like
yes, to an extent, but
too many sour grapes for me from.
He did the same when he left Falkirk in 2003, though.
Well, that's what I mean. I've still got those sour grapes from.
Yeah,
I
years ago.
It still hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what got me was Jim McIntyre was just for me the archetype Dunfermline manager. So it was like.
Yeah, but Jim McIntyre, I don't get why they clamour for him. Look back at his Ross County career. Every time things started to look dodgy, Ray McKinnon would come up with money and he would buy their way out of trouble. Every season.
and yet they're still in the SPL. I understand.
No, they're not.
Oh, sorry. Up until Jim McIntyre.
It kept on going, but he had to spend money because he never got it right in the summer transfer window.
Anyway, he didn't take it. Ian McCall didn't take it.
No.
Whoever else got offered it didn't take it. So they eventually went just gun-ho to Ray McKinnon, who, because of the way Morton structure their management deals, which is kind of daft, run-year rolling contract, makes them quite easy to buy out if you want them to. But apparently they're all hee-hawing and laughing at training, talking about the team they're going to select. Then the chairman walks away for the train guy, gets a phone call, and 3 hours, 4 or 5 hours later, the deal's done. Tinged with, what was it? It wasn't tinged with some resentment. I think was the professional Morton statement that was
snakes is a
green reptile colour.
It was a very, very honest statement from Morton, but much in the same vein of Ian McCall, as Morton are up there with Ayr right now. I think the same sort of points.
We're second as of yesterday.
1-0.
So
aye.
But
In bizarre
regardless,
circumstances.
They're still a better team than Falkirk by a long way.
So here's my question: What appealed to Ray McKinnon about this job?
Well, he's been given a
contract.
He's been given a contract of 2020,
2 years,
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
which immediately points out to me that this is a survival exercise this season, and
Oh, absolutely.
go again next season.
I mean, we would actually, right, we watched them get absolutely tanked against Queen of the South, which now in retrospect, was it 3-0?
Paid for my season ticket.
Who did?
That game.
Oh, you got the win in the Stephen Dobie
I
hat
have
trick.
so much money on Stephen Dolan scoring goals. Paid for my Falkirk season ticket.
Well, that's good, you got your money back on that, at least. But then he went and pumped Ayr 5-0.
Yeah, exactly.
So we didn't do so bad. Now you think, hold on,
Let's not start that debate because
We've still got Ayr to play in 2 weeks. Falkirk. I'm not going to be wee, I'm not Lee McCulloch.
So he the right man for the job?
It wouldn't have mattered who they got in. Falkirk are doomed. That squad is the worst Falkirk team I've ever seen.
it's barely a squad.
I would like to play back the ambitious optimism of John Brown on the preview show, claiming that, well, Darren and I think said they were going to finish third, fourth, bottom at best.
Right, I thought you were going to say third or fourth.
Oh,
he said third or fourth, didn't he?
Did you say second?
I said second.
He said second. So, whilst you were calling for Hartley's resignation, and I actually must commend the Falkirk board and how quickly they acted, because I thought this would take weeks, because it did with Houston.
They acted quick, because if they didn't, their heads were on the block.
Their heads still on the block, though,
but they always will be. That's
Yeah, it's
going
to take a full team turnaround for their heads not to be on the block now.
I mean, the whole strategy in the summer, now looking at it, was wrong. It had to be done. They needed a refresh. That extensively,
scrapping the academy seems to be the buck stops there.
That was the backbone of Falkirk, was getting in good young players, kind of nurturing them, and they had. I mean, they might not have been our homegrown talents. We might have bought in a few people, but we made them. Mm-hmm. Like Volks and things coming from down south, Alston. I don't know.
You had the academy, the coaches that they build them. Yeah. And it's like, you don't have that anymore.
And that was, I think, the final straw in Hartley's back, was they got pumped, I think, 3-0 by Aberdeen within 10 minutes in the
under-20s
reserve league. Yeah. And the comments on that post, I was just after 50 minutes, oh my God, it couldn't get any worse.
It was bad.
And it's all gone. It's not a good organisation anymore.
No, it is pretty bad. You have to actually go to a game and just see how disorganised the whole place is. It's frightening that is an organisation that's allegedly wanting to push for the Premiership.
I mean, one of the arguments I've heard, on the board and things like that, there's not a real footballing head. There's not a footballing mind. Well, but how do you build a good football club without anyone who knows about football?
How many owners around around
yeah, but
Britain
they will be
football?
Advised by people who do. There'll be people who made this decision on all those transfers.
It came down to Hartley and
his vision, and they bought right into the Hartley vision.
The board would have went, here's a budget, do what you want with it. That's Hartley's went and Julie done that.
But then they didn't give that to Houston.
They'll need to promise something to Hartley to get him in the door. He was a big name at the time.
But then at the time they said, I keep going back to it, the remit was a strong focus on youth development.
Yeah.
And they scrapped that totally for a big name who had done horrendously at Dundee.
Well, I think that's harsh as well.
He did horrendously at Dundee.
He did really well at Dundee. And it started to tail off, it became a natural lane.
We're still talking Hartley here.
Yeah.
Like, three promotions in 3 seasons.
Brilliant, that
Do you know what? You do think back, he did do very well with Alloa, but left under suspicious circumstances when they got pumped like 8-0. And he took that as a chance to jump
Get out
ship
the
to
door,
Dundee, which I thought was sketchy.
But again, took them the championship title.
Yeah, they're pretty
Had
good.
them.
Dundee, yeah.
Did they finish 6th their first year in the Premier League? 6th, 7th?
Oh, I don't think so.
They finished mid
Maybe seventh,
mid-table, and
They were
then
comfortable.
up until sort of last year.
Is his career over now?
I don't
Nah,
think
far from
so.
it.
Back-to-back failures now? Like,
Back to back. I don't think Dundee was a total failure.
it wasn't the end.
No.
Mirror Dundee, Hartley to Houston and Falkirk. 2 good seasons, and it's started to tail off in the third.
Yeah, that's not bad.
The rebuilding job was a big task to take on, and he's got some
to do it the way he did it. It wasn't a rebuilding task. It was a I'm wiping the slate clean, we're starting again task.
Oh, Alex Harris left. Speaking of which, the other day, I would have kept him. I didn't mind him.
get my coat.
He was good at crossing. He was good at crossing, and you give me one player in that team that can cross a football.
It doesn't matter anymore.
No, it doesn't matter anymore. It's irrelevant. So, Ray McKinnon is now left with what he's left with. How?
No pressure on him though.
There is though.
No, well,
There is. There's enough. Could you, if Falkirk get relegated,
After
there's
January,
no
there might be
pressure.
on him if there's no turn up in performance, but up till January.
Well, see,
it's a
that was the
free
one
zone.
thing about Hartley that I thought is seeing that sort of February-March period. I had a little bit of optimism. I was looking up rather than I was looking down.
He had a good formation, and in fact, what we actually had then is what we maybe should have kept a hold of and built from it. But they decided none of we'll get rid of all of it.
But when you get rid of 10 first team players, you can't.
And he seemed to, again, it's all hearsay and rumours, but he had fallen out with a lot of people in the back room.
everybody.
He was abusive to. So, don't know if it's true or no, but. And that causes
So
a
you had no
toxic
insider information.
There was some inside information.
habit. With Samuel's Instagram.
Aye. You see that? He called Hartley
Number it. That was a direct quote.
Like,
and it
genuine
doesn't
question, is that something you can't say?
count. Oh, no.
It's not a term of endearment.
It's very English.
Yeah, it's
Right, okay.
I think it's a
So
homosexual.
nuts is a word you can't say.
But,
Anyway, yeah. But the thing is, for me, Hartley's
That's 3.
team started playing well. I'm just going to talk through it. Hartley's team started playing well when everyone else kind of dropped off. Everyone's league positions were kind of set.
That's
You know, there was not a lot to play for around us. Everyone was kind of.
And we
delivered.
stayed 8th for the entire.
pushing forward.
But at the same time, Inverness went.
Skyrocket.
Do you know? They had about 3 or 4 games in hand and weren't too far off. Their league position looked bad because they hadn't played games.
Well, they're playing well now. They're kind of battling with, Ross County up the top as I anticipated. It's not in the right order I wanted though at the moment. I don't know. Like when we watched that Queen of the South game, I honestly thought it would actually be good if we got beat 5-6-0 here, just to give everyone a good shake as to say this is serious. And do you know what? Going down, I don't think would be the worst thing for them, because look at what happened to right. Okay, financially, it would be the worst thing for them, but look at Dunfermline, look at Livingston, look at all these teams that have had to go back to rebuild, rethink things. Fresh sheet of paper again.
Ignore the Dunfermline word and just stick with the
Yeah,
Livingston
but the
words.
Dunfermline have gone careering by us completely.
They're just as bad as us.
No, they're not.
They're-
They're miles better.
Look at that table.
John,
The
Fraser Aird, James Cragen are top quality footballers that we've never seen the likes of.
They took seasons to get out of the seaside leagues.
Oh, they did. That's true.
That was financial difficulty that put them in there.
Yes.
And it was Hartley's team that knocked them down.
Yeah, but
Hartley's Alloa knocked them down.
my point is that teams have.
Wraith are struggling.
Yeah, but
They don't
we're
know
not
they're gonna
Wraith though. Like they are.
Well, we are if we get
That
relegated
was a
They're no.
full-time
Falkirk are
organisation.
like 3 times bigger than Wraith.
because of the money that comes in with the.
Yes.
And you've just said that we won't get the money. It'll be a financial disaster if we get relegated.
Oh, I know it will. But
So then we're at the same step as Wraith.
but then you don't need.
Sorry, I'm going all Lee McCullough.
You don't need. Yeah, but you don't need money to make a great football team, and I put a massive asterisk next to that. A good organisation, a la Motherwell, a la Kilmarnock, for example.
Still got bigger budgets.
Oh yeah, they do have bigger budgets, but in comparison to where they're finishing, Kilmarnock in the top 6 last season finished ahead of Hearts.
With probably...
Yeah, but what's the budgetary
I was
difference?
about to say the best manager in Scotland, but...
Yeah, but then there's a huge budgetary difference. You look at the players, Hibs and things they're bringing through. Yes, the budget is there to kind of go compound on top of that. But my point is that a good organisation breeds a good football team, right? Doesn't matter about wages and stuff like that. If there's not a good organisation, you can chuck as much money at it as you want, and it won't work. And that's exactly what's happened here, in my mind.
That's what's happened.
We can't get relegated, and I think that's the end of the...
No.
I think that's the final line, is if we get relegated.
The club will be in an absolute disaster zone. But there's enough support and enough fans that I may actually prop it back up again. Shareholder group might decide they'll sell it.
I'd just be really interested to see how McKinnon takes it.
I don't see him there being past Christmas.
That's the
Honestly,
thing. I mean, he failed at Dundee United.
No, I got a raw deal at Dundee United. He did really well at Morton.
He'd done well at Morton.
But then why did he leave? He was doing brilliantly at Morton.
That's what we'll get
the thing about Dundee United was, I would like to know who was actually signing the players there, because their signings were rank rotten in the time he was
He's
there.
got to have some control over it, though.
I mean, he did get wraithed into the playoffs. He was there as well.
Yeah. Traditional bottle jobs. But that was when his stock was at the highest. His wraith team's the reason he gets all these jobs now, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
A professional knitwear enthusiast as well. He's always got some fetching V-neck or cardigan. I appreciate that as a fellow. I've got some lamb's wool, actually. It's a lamb's wool blend.
Lovely.
Marks and Spencer's finest. Had it for a while. It's lovely. So I can sympathise. Ray, if you're in... Wait, actually, no, when you do come to Falkirk, say hi. We'll exchange cardigans. Anyway. No?
I don't know how to respond to that.
Why?
Next point.
Right. Does he keep them up?
No. It wouldn't have mattered who they got in. They're going down.
Are they going to overhaul Alloa? You don't think so? I think they might overhaul Alloa. I'd hope they overhaul Alloa.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is it's all hope. I have no idea. He has got such a job on his hands, and if he manages it, fair play to him.
I think from here on out, especially signings-wise, proven and tested. Like
somebody with
Paul Payton.
Don't get me. I've been to one game this season. It was enough for me.
Yes,
I've said in the past I'm not.
It's the worst football I've ever seen in my life.
And the interesting thing is that first game of the season, Inverness, I came away from it and I met you after the game. It wasn't enough to totally put me off. I thought there was some signs of promise.
The crazy thing about that game is they actually should have drawn that.
Yeah.
Which is baffling to me.
I wonder what difference that would have made in confidence-wise.
But then you look, right, the Championship is on such fine margins. If you have one good player, a la Lauren Shankland, Stephen Dobie, you are catapulted into major success. So it only takes one guy to turn it around, and that's the fortunate thing about the league that they're in.
Yep.
Brilliant. Anyway,
you are correct.
Yeah, no comeback.
More positive Championship news. Stephen Dobie has scored 7 goals in the last 2 weeks. 3 against Falkirk, 4 against Ayr United, who got
bit of a surprise.
Who got beat 5-0, despite being the kind of roasting goal scorers themselves.
Falkirk unsettled them with the
karma for Ian McCall. There is what's happened.
Took the Falkirk job.
Gary Harton's getting a goal as well, which sees them, I think, launch up to kind of second, third place in the Championship, just behind Ross County, who beat Falkirk, which was pretty standard. Elsewhere, Partick got a victory against Morton, who themselves would have been on tails, despite some bizarre events narrated expertly by Chick Young, and a series of unfortunate events.
Anybody that hasn't seen it, it's on the BBC website. It's outstanding.
I'm sure John will be tweeting it out on the Sofa Manager Twitter, so go there first.
Glorious. Sorry for getting the plugs.
That's okay, I'll retweet the BBC Scotland one.
Is our website back up, by the way?
No.
I was on it the other day, it was working. Anyway,
you can actually go on the site. I can't get in the admin bit.
I'll try to ship that after.
That's an internal error.
So apart from the hackers, Lee McCulloch's just I knocked off some Slovenians the other day as well. That's a long story. So what actually happened? Someone describe.
Partick scored a goal, and that should have been the end of it.
Which resulted in a throw-in.
But yeah, I mean, I don't understand it. No. Chick Young seems to think the referee has seen it go over the line. I don't see that in the video. But the assistant on the touchline, looking straight at the goals, points for a throw-in.
That's pretty much my take on it as well. The ball has hit the net. It's hit this kind of stanchion. Right back out again. And I'm sure this happened about 20 years ago.
It did. In the same goal, in the same corner.
Brilliant. Came back out. The goalie's on his way back out has booted it. Guy. All the party fans are celebrating, players are away. The ref actually walks back to the centre circle.
Yeah.
You see it in the video. For whatever reason, the linesman has flagged it. I don't. Not seen. He's given the throw in based on the goal never actually crossed the line.
Yeah.
Is the assumption.
I mean, it's the only reason there is for him awarding a throw in for that.
I mean, the guy wasn't offside, so obviously that would have went in. It's not like it went over the bar and there was a hole in the net. Any of that nonsense. Because
it's clearly over the line. It hits the net.
Yeah.
That's the bit I don't understand.
How can you miss that?
Lampard at the World Cup. Sure. Maybe because it hits the bar, it bounces straight down. This thing hits the net.
It does. So for a cracking finish.
It's a superb goal. It's goal of the month.
He's not getting his bonus for it though, I presume. So that's awkward. But kind of officiating in Scotland is kind of that way inclined.
Horrendous though.
When we watched this, we had red card out of nowhere. Aberdeen Kilmarnock, red card out of nowhere. This was a very unusual
McGregor
decision.
One earlier on.
McGregor not getting picked up.
They're all talking points. This is a blatant.
This is it. Yeah. It's.
Give it a watch. The commentators do an excellent job.
The Giants commentary is brilliant. Fair play to the guy. It's genuinely brilliant.
Baffling. So we look forward next week to what our bizarre refereeing decision is, but it keeps us talking.
Aye.
Partick kind of struggling a bit. They're in the Championship, not doing as well as they would expected.
They come and go. Right? 2 wins and 2 losses.
So bad then, I guess, is it? Standard Championship side. Trying to think. Other interesting results this weekend. Livy beating Hibs.
Hibs,
2-1, crying.
Hibs will be out of job by Monday.
Do you know what? His interview was really funny again. He was like, I don't want to point fingers, but the players were shocking. Was essentially what he said.
His tactics, I was there. Jesus.
Aye.
Cannot defend. For all these years,
now we're talking about Hearts, we were talking about Hibs and Livy.
Yeah, I know John's not a very good radio host, so he's just skipped.
I don't care.
Just checking that. Yeah. Just checking that.
Like everyone else, I don't like Hibs much.
Well, you get to talk about them getting beat. Surely that's good fun for you.
Yeah, there you go.
No, because we need to talk about that pitch again. And
right, okay.
Hearts, man.
Naismith getting a hat trick.
Beautiful, man.
So it was a weekend of hat tricks.
Want me more points, more money.
Well done, considering the terrible news about Craig Levine and his illness.
I'm aware he has been taken ill. Is that all we know?
I initially heard it was a heart attack. Apparently it's not a heart attack or a heart attack, either way.
Because that's something to make a joke out of.
Grim humour. He's fine. So Austin McPhee.
So we have
to
bleep out, but we can make a joke about heart attacks.
I thought we were going to talk about Bogdan being pronounced dead after 15 minutes in the Hibs Twitter feed. I was see that.
Was that a mistype?
It was Bogdan dives.
Dive. So it's an autocorrect issue.
Go and find it is brilliant. Read some of the comments below it, like forever in our hearts.
He was beaten twice at Almondvale against a very persistent Livingston. Best thing about that game before I move on. Far more Hibs fans than they were Livy fans, and I guarantee they came from just up the road, which is massively depressing and very annoying for Livingston, but they got the better of it, and may you go into work on Monday and actually shaft them with it, frankly.
Get that number written.
Yes. I'll allow it. Right, your Hearts round up then, John.
Not much to say. I think Stubbs will be out of job by Monday.
Stubbs is a terrible manager.
He's not learned since his Hibs days how to defend corners or tell his players how to do it. Hearts, on the other hand, look great. They could actually challenge for a while.
It actually kills me because I was convinced that Hearts weren't even going to finish top 6.
I mean, you watch previous podcasts and I absolutely berate Craig Levine and his tactics.
I know. They've nailed it.
A mask, big over my jersey, but no, they look alright. Their biggest asset actually at the moment is Rangers and Celtic being in Europe.
Well, that's the thing. I think Rangers are really going to struggle with their rotations and stuff like that. And we saw against Motherwell last week, he tried to change it a bit, and all heck breaks
European
loose.
hangovers 6 times this season each. Hearts can capitalise on that. It's a really good challenge.
No, I agree.
I can't see them holding.
No, absolutely.
We're talking
season,
about
but
is
up to
the league.
Christmas.
We're talking about is the league going to be in question at January? I think the answer is yes. But by that same token, the league was in question last January until Celtic ran riot over Rangers in that New Year's Day.
Set a marker again, and the same thing may happen again.
I can see. I've said from the start, I can see Rangers more of a challenge, but not a challenge as such.
No.
And then next season is where we'll maybe start to see a little bit a proper title. I can see a proper title race next season. Unless, with that 20 million, maybe the investment helps, but
I don't know.
Maybe they need a glitter ball above the stadium or something.
That'd be awesome. Don't criticise the pyro. Yeah, my problem with Rangers is they loan in far too many players, so to actually build something successful is quite difficult.
But when you loan them all from the same team and they've already...
Yeah, but
when you just hire the Liverpool under-20s, like they're already a fully fledged team that
but they would never be able to sign folk like Ajaria, or especially Ajaria, I think would cost them too much.
Who looks excellent.
I think Kent, would maybe be a possibility down the line, but I don't think it's the right. And their own youth academy has produced exactly 0 players in that team currently. Whereas Celtic, you look at Forrest, McGregor, Tierney.
And the other challengers that you'd think at the start of the season, when we said about Hearts, don't think they'll carry it on. Hibs,
they're too up and down. Their defence is strong.
Defence can't defend. And if you can't defend, then you're not going to win games. And I think at the moment, the less we say about Aberdeen, the happier you'll be.
If they finish in top 6, then happy days, job done. It's
just a difficult year for them. Need a striker.
Don't we all? Anyway, on to our last topic. On the happy note, it's about that time for the free FIFA release date in kind of September sort of time.
It's soon.
FIFA 19 on the way out. There's been a lot of chatter on the internet, a lot of frustration that FIFA has not changed in a long time. So I thought I'd take this opportunity with 2 experts of FIFA. We have, to my left, John Brown, who in FIFA 17, 18? 17 snapped his disc in pure frustration.
Nope, no, it wasn't in frustration. It was in desolation.
Oh dear. And we have Fraser, who did get to Division 1 3 years ago.
Division 1 last year.
Last year too.
And weekend league's where it stopped for me. 21s a week.
Oh yeah, weekend league. Do they still do weekend league?
As far as I'm aware. It's been so long since I...
Exactly.
Yep.
So this is why we'll discuss what has lost our interest about FIFA, because it's not changed in 5 years if we actually look at it.
Do you know, it's interesting this year in that I kind of wish I was back at uni.
So you had a lot of time to actually...
Have you seen their new game mode?
5v5 or survival?
Oh, it's like
all of the remember FIFA 06?
Yeah.
Lounge sessions.
Yeah.
Or however they named it. It might just have been lounge mode or something like that.
Yeah, the party.
They're essentially bringing that back. And if I was living like I did with my mates, there was 5 of us in a house, we all played FIFA.
Perfect.
Great. I'd have a great time. There's a couple of them weren't as good. You can give them a 3-goal head start. But
then what? That's not that hard to put in there. Why has it been absent for forever?
Who knows? But the positive news is they've brought it back. The negatives, it's not enough to bring me back to FIFA. I won't buy this year.
Well, I've always been a bit of a career mode hardcore. I've gone 12 seasons with Chiavari or who are Virtus Entella of Serie B.
I feel somebody should make a meme of that.
Of what?
The SpongeBob, you're hard, aren't you?
Oh, right.
Please.
Quite right. But yeah, the career mode's been the same for years. It's been very predictable. You get your youth players that go sensationally high.
Yeah.
Whereas
my biggest problem with career mode, pre-contracts.
You're only allowed to sign them half a year
half a year before. But bottom of Derby County in the Championship should not be able to buy or should not be able to sign Eden Hazard
on
a pre-contract just by lumping on his wages. But that's what you could do in FIFA recently in FIFA's gone by. And actually, it's getting to the stage where the FIFA YouTubers who do their rebuilds and make their big series on rebuild.
I like those.
So, some of them are really good, but they're having to limit themselves. They are having to make a conscious decision. I will not do that, and that's, to me, is just ridiculous.
The thing that bugs me about career mode is that back in the day, you could actually overspend. And in FIFA 06 and 07, you just used to get money in and money that went out. Right? So you could make money and you could lose money. So when I signed Freddie Lundberg for Aberdeen, I lost money. And every single season I would run out of money and I would get sacked.
Well, of course, because you had the ticket sales and whatnot. Yeah.
For the home games, you'd get revenue. For away games, you'd get none.
You'd lose money the weeks you were away from home.
You'd lose your salary. Now, other aspect of those games was you had the sliders where you could build your... Do you remember this? Like the stadiums? So you could upgrade your training, which would make your players grow faster. You could upgrade your stadium, which would bring in more ticket revenue, and actually change the stadium you played in. Oval style used to be 10, if you remember. That was a big 3-tiered beast back in the day.
It's just hit. Yeah.
Or Euro style, I think, was 8, which was a stadium. What did it look like? A bit like a smaller Man City stadium.
It was kind of cool.
So, yeah, and every season I would go back to Aberdeen and get sacked because I couldn't afford Freddie Lundberg's wages. But that could happen. Whereas it's just too predictable now. And I know
the game is too easy. And it
agree with that.
It does get more difficult. Like I said, I'm an American football fan. I play Madden. Madden on the highest difficulty, you still win comfortably if you're decent at the game. That's the one positive about FIFA. Or a negative, depending on how you look at it. It's difficult to beat their harder levels.
I've still never managed to suss world class,
well,
which is where my Ultimate Team career kind of ground to a halt, because I was literally so focused trying to get through these tournaments to earn one wretched pack that would have got me barely even Lee Griffiths
exactly
at that point. But I downloaded the PES demo because they've obviously got the Scottish team's licence this year. We're going to have Celtic Park, Ibrox in the game. All their faces in that, which kind of look a bit janky, but you know,
it's only a demo. Give them that. It's only a demo.
The full version's out now. And is
it still
look a bit janky? But the Celtic players aren't very good looking anyway, so you know. And Stuart Armstrong left, so there's basically nobody. So that's
I'm spending too long thinking about that.
That's kind of tempting me, but yeah, you know, John's obviously a hardened kind of football manager.
Football manager.
Would you take some of those aspects into it, or do you think the two should be separate?
They're mutually exclusive.
But would you take the FIFA game engine for the football manager simulations, which are currently
for the most part, I still play
janky?
Football Manager on 2D Classic.
Right, okay.
Rather than using the 3D engine. I hate the 3D engine because you watch a guy shoot for 40 yards out and you watch your keeper dive the wrong way. Drop instantly.
Like a game I was like massively into back in the day was that LMA Manager 2006, which we were discussing before, Club Football 2005, which had Ibrox and Celtic Park in it, which was a bloody nightmare. We used to go the best teams ever. Couldn't it be the worst team in the game was SC Bastia?
Or it was the team we always played. I think we randomised it into a league.
Falkirk in that game, because they had
the first
division. Because
they must have been.
Wraith Rovers were Kirkcaldy because none of this was licensed, and like
they must have been.
I'm going to try to see if I can get that run on my wee brother's Xbox 360 because I would like to see, because they must have been. Anyway,
it was 04 or 05 been the first division.
Yeah, but
05 or 06 would been the Premiership.
I've got something in my head that like. We had Russell Latape, and his name was spelled L-E-T.
I'm sure Aberdeen had like John Tash instead of John Tosh.
Stuff like that.
Brian Lara Cricket was hilarious for that as well. Andrew Flintoff was the main one I remember. See, back in the day though.
They were great though.
And that's the thing, PES I think still has, because they don't have the Premier League licence, so it's like Manchester Red, and you have to download like a janky file to like fix it. But it's like, I miss that.
Like Football Managers like that though, because they don't have all the licenses for the badges.
Right.
You just download
mods and stuff.
Love Football Manager as well. I mean, I have played more Football Manager this year than I've played FIFA.
Yeah, I mean, I'm rocking like 2,000 hours.
Really?
Well, mine will be somewhat similar, but that's because I
just never shut it down.
Yeah, exactly.
How's the girlfriend, John?
And mine has literally just moved to Aberdeen.
Well, some relationship advice to round off. Yeah, football manager's key.
Was that a pre-contract?
Oh dear, the jankiness. Anyway, I think that about rounds us off for this week, sadly. So thank you very much for joining me, John.
No worries.
And thank you very much for joining me, Fraz.
Not a problem.
Stay frosty, hope you get well soon. And of course, thank you very much for joining me, Paul. If you enjoy, give us a like, subscribe, follow on all our social media platforms. Sofa Manager is available on YouTube, all good podcasting services including Anchor, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. So give us a shout. Anyway, have a good morning and a good...
Do you want to start again?
Yeah. Have a good evening. Yeah, a good evening, a good afternoon, and a good morning. Bye bye.